Just the worst. So... Huh?
Don't be mean!
Just a second.
No way!
What the heck? Just the worst. What are you saying? Makoto. It would seem... Why is that? Anyway... Shall we go? Hey. Correct. Hey. Anyway... So then... I knew it. I see. Hey. So then... That's right. In other words... However... Makoto. Because... Hey. Is that right? So then... Indeed. That's right. Indeed. Why is that? Hey. So... However... Is that right? So... Hey. So then... Hey. Is that right?
Are you excited? Are you pumped? It's time for the...
It would seem...
Monokuma Wrong. Boy, the crowd. Okay. Hey, hey!
Let's go.
What the heck?
What the heck?
Hey.
Come on.
Yeah!
Let's begin with a basic. If you can figure out who did now,
We already know who did it.
was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murder?
I am sorry to say, parts we assume were, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know!
Everything we found in your room, the blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
It's not true! It's a conspiracy! No! Just hold on a second!
Everything we found, the blueprints, the suit parts, they are all that you are the culprit.
It's not true! It's Hero! No! Just hold on a second!
Everything we found, the blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof.
No! It's wrong!
Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at it's the note that Hiro wrote. The handwriting's obvious.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
The differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he is not the only one. I think.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
So, who was in the Robo-Justice?
I got it! Other than Hiro, obviously he was the one in that
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What?
Now that's a bold assumption.
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But there's something else we need to clarify first.
Stop trying to boss us around.
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transit. It would seem that his corpse was moved. Makoto?
I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right? So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room. And then when we found it for the second time, it was the same tarp that up until then was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tar. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken? Huh? Are you absolutely positive that dolly was made specifically for moving? It would be very strange indeed. Discovery had made its way. Is it not possible that it was in the...
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anymore. You well accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Danganronpa.
What? I got it! I got it! I got it! So the killer later, when
wretch. I cannot agree. You are cruel. Do your worst. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are cruel. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are cruel. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are cruel. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere.
Danganronpa.
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are cruel. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are cruel. Do your worst. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are cruel. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are cruel. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are cruel. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire marking that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably... And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body.
Well,
Yeah, the subject...
I'm not sure that...
I'd be happy to if you look back on how the As you know, Taco was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository.
Yeah, the culprit last one loaded it onto the dolly. Now, keep in mind that the dolly... Yeah, all you have to do is bend over. Then you could push the dolly no problem. So the killer and carted the body...
If you accept, then you must realize that... sorry, I don't think As we know, top hand from there.
Yeah, the cop then loaded it on...
Now, keep in mind...
Well, yeah, all you have to do is bend over.
No, it's wrong. You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly.
From simply pushing the dolly before
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick...
it'd be totally impossible! Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, it's very unlikely you would have...
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was... I don't think he would have let us see him wear it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right!
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said? So long as those facts exist, the individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hero, without a doubt. Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second!
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore instead of seizing on one viewpoint?
Perhaps, but where do we...
Let's review this series of unfortunate events.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up. So we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour, because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office,
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that...
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
And Then... At that point, we decided to divide up into two groups. Celeste, Hina, and I... When I left Celeste...
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room because we heard the same announcement not long after.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. But right after we left the physics lab, we rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again. But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also...
I think that about...
Rather than a single series of events. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding... Now then, let's get started. So, regarding Taka's death,
or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last. Because of the night, it's true that he's... Well, Taka's dead. See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if it was perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last. Because of the night, it's true that Hifumi, while Taka's death, came last. See? So it's obvious Taka came after. So, I wonder if what perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before, because perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a switch.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after. Regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after. We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say?
Because of the night.
It's true that he... While Taka's death...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after. So, I wonder if or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Mitsumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after. Regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he put the accident. We already know what Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the number.
It's true that he flew while Taka's dead.
See? So it's obvious Taka came. So, I wonder if what the accident. We already know what orders we were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammer.
It's true that he fully was while Taka's dead.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after. So, regarding, I wonder if what the accident. We already know what order the Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that he flew while Taka's dead.
See? So it's obvious Taka came. So, I wonder if what the accident. We already know what order Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of.
It's true that he...
Danganronpa.
Well, what's to stop? From simply pushing the dot?
I got it! I don't think take...
So long as those facts exist.
That about
We already know what order they were killed. How could he not? Because of the numbering of the justice hammers.
It's true that he flew while Papa's dead.
See? So it's obvious how to think. So, but I wonder if or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed. How could he not? Because of the numbers.
It's true that he flew while Papa's dead.
See? So it's obvious how to think. So, but I wonder if or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed. How could he not? Because of the numbering of the justice hammers.
It's true that he flew while Papa's dead.
See? So it's obvious how to think. So, I wonder if or perhaps it was... We already know what order Taka came last. Because of the numbers.
It's true that he flew was killed while Papa's dead.
See? So it's obvious how to think. So, but I wonder if or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were... Taka came last. Because of the numbering of the justice hammers.
It's true that he flew while Papa's dead.
See? So it's obvious how to think. So, but I wonder if or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were... Taka came last. Because of the numbering of the justice hammers.
It's true that he flew while Papa's dead.
See? So it's obvious how to think. So, I wonder if he or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the justice...
No, it's wrong. Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same... If anything, that's just another way to...
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before... Okay then, let's see the proof.
Danganronpa. Danganronpa.
His wristwatch, see? Look! It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of... So if it wasn't...
We made the...
Because when he was killed...
That may be true, but
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were... crawled together. Except for... Then we all ran down to the nurse's office. And that's where we found his body. That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something!
If that's true, where's the...
No?
Don't just go making...
anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared, when his body vanished from the nurse's office. Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office. Yes, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Shield did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway. In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need...
That's true. We searched it and... His body appeared...
What? The dead body?
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
Alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the
But I
nurse?
mean, we found his...
Perhaps he was simply a plague.
Is it possible?
Are you saying that when we... first found Hifumi in the nurse's office? There's a chance he was actually still alive.
It is impossible. Hifumi was dead, and we know that actually, through the body discovery announcement, Hifumi's dead body had been found, and that is why the announcement.
Ooh, so maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. If Hifumi was dead, and we know that shortly you heard the body discovery of Hifumi's dead body had been found, and that is really weird. Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, and you know that shortly you heard the body of Hifumi's dead, and that is really weird. Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Shoot! Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still...
No, Hifumi was dead, and you know that shortly you heard the body of Hifumi's dead, and that is really weird. Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we heard there's a chance?
No, Hifumi was dead, and you know that shortly you heard the body of Hifumi's dead body, and that is really weird. Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Shoot!
Danganronpa.
I don't think
saying that when we first found there's a chance he was...
No, if Hifumi was dead, and you know that shortly you heard the body discovered Hifumi's dead, and that is really weird. Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found there's a chance he was actually...
No, because Hifumi was dead, and you know that shortly you heard the body discovered Hifumi's dead body had been found, and that is really so maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office... there's a chance he was actually still...
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, and you know that shortly you heard the body of Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, come on!
the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his...
That's right. It wasn't long...
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake. I think we've confused whether the announcement was
Maybe Monokuma's...
What do you say, Monokuma?
But what I can say about it's only broadcast when three...
That didn't answer our question, man.
No, actually, that was... He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first... Even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement...
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement. I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository. It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement...
in reality when the two dead bodies were rediscovered for the first.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, meaning he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him.
And that's just part of one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
We're gonna play dead!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard.
But okay then. Then it should become...
Well, here's one thing we've seen. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nest, and then, while me and Celeste felt his body disappeared.
And the next time we thought that it was in the
But when you compare his body to Freddy, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
No, it's wrong. In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi and the nurse. That fact alone proves that he was only...
Perhaps you'd like to hear the rest.
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the items he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office. It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make the mascot on the cloth is... And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course. I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would...
I see your point. And the only...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of shit.
What I'm saying is,
Even if that is true.
but who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
It must have been him.
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive and he pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean, so then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse, then it could...
What would we call that from?
If he was gonna play dead, he should go all out. So we just did everybody got crazy
disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious he must have moved Taka.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, you went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, Fumi and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository,
And it could only have been Hifumi.
Us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murder.
I just can't believe it. If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you what?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single bit, you know what I'm talking about, right, Miss?
Talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note said.
That's the note I was telling. In my note, Monokuma can't find out, so don't
See. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been... I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Happy! Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka... Yes! You ruin it every time!
Remember what the note said. What time did it say to me?
6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter! It has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, it's wrong! No! There absolutely is a connection. Said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. You've already proven that using his wrist, but there's more. Look where the note says, the equipment room.
Which is where Taka was killed.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place. Rick, I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, we put down further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. culprit really is a culprit.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Down his pants, no less!
Most likely. Hifumi stole...
Where's your proof?
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on...
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from its death, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact...
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, the second body discovery announcement.
So then,
Whoever did is the master mind.
During that time, we'd all split up.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus! Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
and what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
Weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file... The way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same. But
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around.
hell yeah, it's packed in there.
He's right, though. But if the hammers were...
So the question, so which hammer was used to...
Is it not possible they used the...
I don't think it is possible. They were both...
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi? What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer?
Maybe just as well. But it was wrong. How is the culprit able? How did nobody witness them?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 minute information! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime.
Well, like they said, the murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers.
No, it's wrong. The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was
But, seriously? A different weapon?
specifically a hammer that for some reason... And if the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of things, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used the hammer to kill him.
Whoever did that was the true killer. The one who Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a minute. I still think it's the way the graduation rule works. There is no benefit to the idea that any who actually carried out assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible that two people... But that only really applies in this case, however. There were two murders. Based on the rule, even if more than one's only the one who actually carried out assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible. But that only really applies in this case, however. There were two murders. Based on the rule, even if more than only the one who actually assuming the rule holds true. But that only really applies in this case, however. There were two murders. Based on the rule, even if more than only the one who actually assuming the rule holds true. It is simply... But that only really applies in this case, however. There were two murders. Based on the rule, even if more than one or only the one who actually carried out the act assuming the rule holds true. No, it's wrong!
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward.
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part. There's no point in being someone's accomplice.
You're saying that two people...
I think that's what the end based on.
And it only looked like one person? Because that's how the true killers are single suspicion.
But the masterminds picked their target and managed to...
That's just...
You think so? I can't help but admire it.
I understand how an accomplice...
That's problem numero uno right now!
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do. So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit-brain, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot!
Just to be clear, there is
so.
It is. Throughout the investigation, they're considering what we've learned so far.
The behavior they had in common has to...
Shush. The adults are talking. So, as he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said.
Are you saying everything they told?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all... And not too long after that... We headed to the second floor, specific... Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to it was time for her partner.
It was to get us to divide into two groups.
In fact, Celeste was precisely... Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another when we found Hifumi in the nurse's office. Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it! Everything, the whole thing was one big act!
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal...
Oh.
I didn't even catch it myself for looking back. I can say it... I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't...
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left it once we were in the hall. We ran into Celeste. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone... You're really not the culprit.
Enjoying the sight of us standing around fighting them. They must be positive we are all going to die here. We are going to die. Just like so. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to jump. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
I said we must be really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to die. We are going to die.
Just like so. No, it's wrong. That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into... to her, there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead.
You all have such vivid
imaginations.
You claim that I was lying when I told you. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of...
It has to be some kind of...
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly taken the class. I happen to know that this could... In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie. Simple.
Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations.
No, there is no other...
What?
picture of the suspect, I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm. The one being dragged off in that picture is we've simply been led to believe that... And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just dragged me across it to me and you tried to make me look like...
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is the person inside the suit. There's no way they could stand up straight like that.
No, that's wrong! No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand... No, because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
I'm not so sure. I think the suit was designed from the beginning.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they specially designed and stuck Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Don't make me laugh. What do you mean? Celeste, clearly. You want to cram me into your little guilty box. One little problem. Have you already forgotten? What? When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was he said, and I quote, Yasuhiro.
Confusing statements don't make any sense. They only make
He did say Yasuhiro. Would think back to how did he refer to each of us?
That's right! Our last...
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name. He got correct.
I'm sure it was just incident, indecent.
Random chance. Now isn't that... But he must have run out of...
So Hifumi was trying to tell it, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real...
What do you think? You take your false accusation, so come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I? What?
Fumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro. If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste.
How many times have
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I like pretending. It's nonsense. You have no way to contradict me. That's the only truth there is. Moron.
Fumi he wanted us to know the killer's last name. Yasuhiro. If there's one person here who...
It would have to be you, Celeste.
You haven't told me how many times.
How long do you plan to go on
I like pretending. You have no way to contradict me.
No, it's wrong. That's it. The handbook. Anytime you turn your handbook on, Monokuma told us all. So all we have to do is check our handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's story.
That's an invasion of privacy. Because... Until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me go over the case again. From the beginning, that'll bring everything to an...
you!
Before ending, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... Ifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room, laugh. They drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Ifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the full-room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. And that's where Ifumi killed him, making it the scene of the murder weapon was... So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. With these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims, to solidify Robo-Justice as a suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the dare. The killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1, and they wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack suit. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Ifumi to sell us that suit. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Ifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Ifumi was hoping for. He took a bloody packet from the refrigerator. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, we left the nurse's office, and Ifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office, and once again, Ifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the